along with their wives, accompanied by the apsaras, began to dance. The great sages and the demigods, being pleased, began to shower flowers. At the seashore, there was the sound of mild waves, and above the sea, there were clouds in the sky which began to thunder very pleasingly. When things were adjusted like this, Lord Vishnu, who is residing within the heart of every living entity, appeared in the darkness of night as the Supreme Personality of Godhead before Devaki, who also appeared as one of the demi-goddesses. The appearance of Lord Vishnu at that time could be compared to the full moon in the sky as it rises on the eastern horizon. The objection may be raised that since Lord Krishna appeared on the 8th day of the waning moon, there could be no rising of the full moon. In answer to this, it may be said that Lord Krishna appeared in the dynasty which is in the hierarchy of the moon. Therefore, although the moon was incomplete on that night, because of the Lord's appearance in the dynasty where the moon is himself the original person, the moon was in an overjoyous condition. So by the grace of Krishna, he could appear just as a full moon. In an astronomical treatise by the name Kamanikya, the constellations at the time of the appearance of Lord Krishna are very nicely described. It is confirmed that the child born at that auspicious moment was the Supreme Brahman, or the Absolute Truth. Vasudeva saw that wonderful child born as a baby with 4 hands, holding conch shell, club, disc and lotus flower, decorated with the mark of Srivats, wearing the jewelled necklace of Kaustuba stone, dressed in yellow silk, appearing dazzling like a bright blackish cloud, wearing a helmet bedecked with the Vaidurya stone, valuable bracelets, earrings, and similar other ornaments all over his body, and an abundance of hair on his head. Due to the extraordinary features of the child, Vasudeva was struck with wonder. How could a newly born child be so decorated? He could therefore understand that Lord Krishna had now appeared, and he became overpowered by the occasion. Vasudeva very humbly wondered that although he was an ordinary living entity conditioned by material nature and was externally imprisoned by Kamsa, the all-pervading personality of Godhead Vishnu, or Krishna, was appearing as a child in his home, exactly in his original position. No earthly child is born with 4 hands, decorated with ornaments and nice clothing, fully equipped with all the signs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Over and over again, Vasudeva glanced at his child, and he considered how to celebrate this auspicious moment. Generally, when a male child is born, he thought, people observe the occasion with jubilant celebrations. And in my home, although I am imprisoned, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has taken birth. How many millions of times should I be prepared to observe this auspicious ceremony? When Vasudeva, who is also called Anakodundubi, was looking at his newborn baby, he was so happy that he wanted to give many thousands of cows in charity to the Brahmins. According to the Vedic system, whenever there is an auspicious ceremony in the Kshatriya king's palace, the king gives many things in charity. Cows decorated with golden ornaments are delivered to the Brahmins and sages. Vasudeva wanted to perform a charitable ceremony to celebrate Krishna's appearance. But because he was shackled within the walls of Kamsa's prison, this was not possible. Instead, within his mind, he gave thousands of cows to the Brahmanas. So you can do service in your mind. Sometimes that service, manasik seva, is more intense and more powerful than actually physically doing it. If you, for some reason, you're constrained or you can't do the service physically, or you don't have the ingredients, something like that, you can do the whole offering or puja or yagya in your mind. And that's very powerful. Because you have to be more concentrated, isn't it, to do that? To be very focused. When Vasudeva was convinced that the newborn child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, he bowed down with folded hands and began to offer him prayers. At that time, Vasudeva was in the transcendental position, and he became completely free from all fear of Kamsa. The newborn baby was also flashing his effulgence within the room in which he appeared. Vasudeva represents pure consciousness, the living entity in a state of pure consciousness. Shuddha Sattva, it's called Shuddha Sattva. So when the mind is in the state of Shuddha Sattva, then the Lord is born in the mind and in the heart. Yeah. Vasudeva began to offer his prayers. My dear Lord, I can understand who you are. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supersoul of all living entities, and the Absolute Truth. You have appeared in your own eternal form, which is directly perceived by us. I understand that because I am afraid of Kamsa, you have appeared just to deliver me from that fear. You do not belong to this material world. You are the same person who brings about the cosmic manifestation simply by glancing over material nature. One may argue that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who creates the whole cosmic manifestation simply by his glance, cannot come within the womb of Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva. To eradicate this argument, Vasudeva said, My dear Lord, it is not a very wonderful thing that you appear within the womb of Devaki, because the creation was also made in that way. You were lying in the causal ocean as Mahavishnu, and by your breathing process, innumerable universes came into existence. Then you entered into each of the universes as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Then again you expanded yourself as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, and entered into the hearts of all living entities, and entered even within the atoms. Therefore, your entrance in the womb of Devaki is understandable in the same way. You appear to have entered, but you are simultaneously all-pervading. We can understand your entrance and non-entrance from material examples. The total material energy remains intact even after being divided into 16 elements. The material body is nothing but the combination of the 5 gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Whenever there is a material body, it appears that such elements are newly created, but actually the elements are always existing outside of the body. Similarly, although you appear as a child in the womb of Devaki, you are also existing outside. You are always in your abode, but still you can simultaneously expand yourself into millions of forms. One has to understand your appearance with great intelligence, because the material energy is also emanating from you. You are the original source of the material energy, just as the sun is the source of the sunshine. The sunshine cannot cover the sun globe, nor can the material energy, being an emanation from you, cover you. You appear to be in the 3 modes of material energy, but actually the 3 modes of material energy cannot cover you. This is understood by the highly intellectual philosophers. In other words, although you appear to be within the material energy, you are never covered by it. Okay, I'll just miss some out because we won't have time. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is directly and indirectly existing everywhere. So this is Vasudeva speaking and glorifying the Lord. My Lord, your appearance, existence and disappearance are beyond the influence of the material qualities. Because your Lordship is the controller of everything and the resting place of the Supreme Brahman, there is nothing inconceivable or contradictory in you. As you have said, material nature works under your superintendence, just like a government officer working under the orders of the chief executive. The influence of subordinate activities cannot affect you. I understand that you've appeared to kill the uncivilized Kamsa and his followers, But knowing that you were to appear to kill him and his followers, he has already killed so many of your predecessors, elder brothers. Now he is simply awaiting the news of your birth. As soon as he hears about it, he will immediately appear with all kinds of weapons to kill you." After these prayers of Vasudeva, Devaki, the mother of Krishna, offered her prayers. She was very frightened because of her brother's atrocities. So Devaki offers very many prayers to the Lord. You can say the actual parents of Krishna, of the Supreme Lord, are Vasudeva and Devaki. So in that way, being born in Mathura, Krishna is born into a Kshatriya dynasty, and his pastimes in Mathura and Dwarka are as a prince of the royal order. Okay, it's very, very different than in Vrindavan, where he's a gopa, a cowherd boy. That's his most original and his most enjoyable form and pastimes for himself. So actually, Nanda and Yashoda, they're the foster parents of Krishna, looking at it from that point of view. But of course, they don't like to think that. They think, oh, Krishna is our son, and from the beginning, like this. And when they hear, oh, Vasudeva and Devaki are in Mathura, awaiting Krishna's return, they become very, Yashoda becomes very more and more protective of her son. No, he's my son, and like this. So to increase the attachment, Krishna is acting in different ways, appearing to separate himself from his devotees. So Devaki is praying here. My Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Actually, Vasudeva and Devaki, in their previous lives, they had prayed for the Lord to appear as their son. So this was their blessing, their benediction. I offer my respectful obeisances to you because you are the director of the total unmanifested energy and the ultimate reservoir of the material nature. My Lord, the whole cosmic manifestation is under the influence of time, beginning from the moment up to the duration of the year. So the smallest unit of time is supposed to be the time it takes the sun to pass over one atom. That's less than a nanosecond. Yeah. Up to the cosmic universal time, the duration of the universe. 100 years of Lord Brahma. So she's praying to Krishna. Just see, Devaki, a lady, so very philosophically astute, able to explain such nice philosophy and teachings and understanding of the position of the Supreme Lord. My Lord, I request you to save me from the cruel hands of the son of Ugrasena, Kamsa. I'm praying to your Lordship to please rescue me from this fearful condition, because you are always ready to give protection to your servitors. The Lord has confirmed this statement in the Bhagavad Gita by assuring Arjuna, you may declare to the world, my devotee shall never be vanquished. Srila Guru Maharaj explained, why did Krishna say, no, you should declare it, Arjuna? Because Krishna himself could declare it. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But then Krishna was thinking, well, if I say it, there may be some doubt, because sometimes Krishna changed his word, isn't it? When he said that he wouldn't fight in the battle, yet to protect his devotee, he did fight at one point. So like this. But if his devotee will say it, then everyone will have to believe it, because Krishna must fulfill the word of his devotee. Yes? So he's telling Arjuna, you declare it, that my devotee is never vanquished. Nahi kalana krit kaschit dogatim tata gacchati, that verse. So then Devaki said, expressing her motherly affection, I understand that this transcendental form is perceived in meditation by the great sages, but I'm still afraid, because as soon as Kamsa understands that you've appeared, he might harm you. So I request that for the time being, you become invisible to our material eyes. In other words, she requested the Lord to assume the form of an ordinary child. So from the four-handed Vishnu form to the form of Krishna. My only cause of fear for my brother Kamsa is due to your appearance. My lord Madhusudan, which means killer of the demon Madhu. Kamsa may not know that you are already born. Therefore I request you to conceal this four-armed form of your lordship, which holds the four symbols of Vishnu, namely the conch shell, the disc, the club, and the lotus flower. My dear Lord, at the end of the annihilation of the cosmic manifestation, you put the whole universe within your abdomen. Still, by your unalloyed mercy, you have appeared in my womb. So everything goes into the abdomen of the Lord, the womb of the Lord, but the Lord himself is appearing in the womb of Devaki. Very extraordinary thing. I'm surprised that you imitate the activities of ordinary human beings just to please your devotees. So then there's some discussion there where the Lord is speaking to Vasudeva and Devaki, telling about his different incarnations previously. That was in their previous lives. Their names are Prishni and Sutapa. Yes. And now Vasudeva and Devaki. And it says that the Lord could have given them liberation immediately, but he preferred to keep them within this material world for his different appearances, to be his parents, different incarnations. So after this discussion, then, the Lord turned himself into an ordinary child and remained silent. Being ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva attempted to take his son from the delivery room. And exactly at that time, a daughter was born of Nanda and Yashoda in Vrindavan. She was Yogamaya, the internal potency of the Lord. By the influence of this internal potency, Yogamaya, all the residents of Kamsa's palace, especially the doorkeepers, were overwhelmed with deep sleep, and all the palace doors opened, although they were barred and shackled with iron chains. The night was very dark, because it being a dark moon, yes? That's today, right? Is it? This is exactly 1 month, isn't it, since Hrday Maharaj's disappearance? Huh?
Full moon.
Yeah.
On Balaram's appearance, there was
Oh, that was the full moon. Before that was the dark moon, Sripad Maharaj's disappearance. And that's the next, we call it new moon, it means dark moon. So Krishna is dark, he's Sham, he's dark, and he's appearing in the lunar dynasty. And Lord Rama is in the solar dynasty. That's why Krishna's activities are, as Guru Maharaj says, always very crooked and very unusual and very hidden and very, not so much on the surface, also constitutional, like Ram. Lord Ram is constitutional Lord and King. So Krishna is different. So then, the night was very dark, but as soon as Vasudeva took Krishna on his lap and went out, he could see everything, just as in the sunlight. Why do you think that was? Any idea? Huh? How come Vasudeva was dark night, but how come Vasudeva could see everything, just like it was bright sunlight? Yes.
The full moon, right? Is it Krishna's moonlight?
No, we've just said it was dark moon. There was no moonlight.
Because Krishna was so bright.
Because Krishna is like the sun, and where there's the sun there can be no darkness.
So it had right answer. Why you didn't shout?
So when Vasudeva was carrying Krishna, the darkness of the night disappeared. All the prison doors automatically opened. At the same time, there was thunder in the sky and severe rainfall. While Vasudeva was carrying his son Krishna in the falling rain, Lord Shesh, in the shape of a serpent, spread his hood over the head of Vasudeva so that he would not be hampered by the rainfall. Vasudeva came onto the bank of the Jamuna and saw that the water of the Jamuna was roaring with waves and that the whole span was full of foam. Still, in that furious feature, she gave passage to Vasudeva to cross, just like the great Indian Ocean gave a path to Lord Ram when he was bridging over the gulf. In this way, Vasudeva crossed the river Jamuna. On the other side, he went to the palace of Nanda Maharaj, situated in Gokul, where he saw that all the cowherd men were fast asleep. So he silently entered into the house of Yashoda, and without difficulty he exchanged his son for the baby girl newly born in the house of Yashoda. Then, after entering the house very silently and exchanging the boy with the girl, he returned to the prison of Kamsa and silently put the girl on the lap of Devaki. He again clamped the shackles on himself so that Kamsa could not recognize that so many things had happened. And Mother Yashoda understood that a child was born of her, but because she was very tired from the labour of childbirth, she was fast asleep. When she awoke, she couldn't remember whether she'd given birth to a male or a female child. So that's the end of that explanation. I've got this. And, okay, this is by Sripad Maharaj, Krishna's supernatural birth, and about the same situation, Krishna's appearance in the prison house of Kamsa in Mathura. And the devotee is asking Srila Guru Maharaj, could you describe the details of Krishna's birth? And Sripad Maharaj says, on the whole, it is something like imitation. So straight away we get a sort of a different adjustment to the whole kind of story. Imitation, what does that mean? It is nothing like the things we conceive of with our material senses. Krishna, a spiritual body, came and showed himself being born physically. It was an imitation, a show, like a drama, a play. So there's no, blood and guts, umbilical cord and afterbirth and all that stuff. And the devotee asked, did Krishna appear as a child with 4 arms, or in his mature Vishnu form with a crown and ornaments? Oh yeah, did Krishna appear as a child? Because that is also a form of Krishna with 4 arms. Sometimes Krishna is showing himself in Vrindavan like that also, with the 4 arms. But it's Krishna, not Vishnu. So he's asking, was that Krishna with the 4 arms, or was it Vishnu? So Guru Maharaj says, when he came out, Vasudeva and Devaki's eyes were attracted, and they saw him with 4 arms and many ornaments. By his will, the iron gates to their cell opened, and the Jamuna, even during the rainy season, became shallow. That's a little bit different, right? We're saying the whole Jamuna was roaring with waves in a big storm, and somehow parted, like Moses, the Red Sea parted, and Moses is told like that. But this, she became shallow and very calm, so he could cross. A jackal showed Vasudeva the path, and he walked through the water of the Jamuna. When he came back, the gate of the cell closed as it was previously. From the material standpoint, all these supernatural events are inconceivable and impossible. They took place only by the Lord's will. The Lord did not come here by any particular material process, but he did imitate material processes as far as possible. So, like we said, the Lord appeared in the pure mind of Vasudeva, pure consciousness, Shuddha Sattva, and that way was transferred to the womb of Devaki. That's something like the process, which is imitating the material process of seminal exchange and so forth. Devotees. So, Krishna was born as a four-armed, mature form of Vishnu, not a four-armed baby form. And Guru Maharaj says, when Vasudeva was beside Devaki at the time of the birth, he saw the Lord in a four-handed, full-grown form as Vishnu, decorated with ornaments, and began to praise him. That Vishnu form then advised Vasudeva, do this, this, and this. Then the Lord became a Prakrita Shishu, an ordinary baby. When Vasudeva first saw the Lord, he saw a four-armed form of Vishnu. That Vishnu form gave Vasudeva some advice and then assumed a form like that of an ordinary child. Vasudeva carried out the Lord's orders and took him, the child, to Nanda Maharaj's home in Gokul. Maharaj, doesn't Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comment that two Krishnas appeared at the same time? Yes, at the same time that this four-armed Vishnu form appeared before Vasudeva, Yashoda gave birth to a male baby and a female baby. Both of these babies were beside Yashoda when Vasudeva arrived, but Vasudeva could not detect that. According to the advice he had received from the Lord, Vasudeva placed the baby that was in his arms beside Yashoda, and as soon as he did so, Yashoda's male baby absorbed Vasudeva's baby.
Two Krishnas.
Hare Krishna.
So did they both become Krishna, or did one of them kind of disappear? Or
Pardon?
what happened? So
It says, so Yashoda gave birth to a male and female child, right? And then when Vasudeva put the male baby down next to Yashoda, then the male baby of Yashoda absorbed Vasudeva's baby.
okay.
Right.
And where are you reading this from? Where did you get
So
it?
this is Sri Maharaj's explaining, answering questions.
Is it like
devoted.
from a website or something?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. What's it called?
it's very modern technology.
What is it?
It's well, the date on it is 2013, but obviously it was spoken in the time of Sri Maharaj's
Yeah.
when he was in 1980s or like that. So they found that out. They
Okay.
put it on that here, yeah. So reading that, okay.
Pretty much unpublished
Huh?
talks of Srila Maharaj.
Unpublished.
Yes, but published in
Yeah.
electronic format now.
All right. So Vasudeva, when he came into the room where Yashoda was there with the male and the female baby, he only saw the female baby. So he took her to Devaki and he put the male child next to Yashoda, and then that was absorbed. It became one.
Okay.
Yeah. So then he went back and in the prison, and everything went back as it was before. So at that time, intimation went to the watchmen. They became conscious. They were in some sort of deep sleep, and then they heard the newborn baby crying. At once they informed Kamsa, who came and found that the baby was a girl. He wondered, why is this so? A male child must be born to kill me, but a girl has been born. Do the gods speak lies? What is this? Because of the 8th child of Devaki was destined to kill him. He had the prophecy. But that was a male child, and this is female, so he was confused. He asked Vasudeva, why is the child a girl? Give me explanation. Vasudeva replied, "You can see the child with your own eyes." Kamsa wondered what he should do, and then he took the girl by the legs with his hand, as he did with Devaki's other children previously, and thrust the baby onto the stone. That's Guru Maharaj's way of talking. You say he dashed the baby against the stone. As he did so, she didn't die. The girl slipped from his hand, flew into the sky, assumed the 8-armed form of Katyayani, and said, "He who will kill you is growing up in Gokul." Tough luck. Then she disappeared. Kamsa wondered what he should do, and then he engaged many spies to find all of the newborn babies in Vrindavan. He first sent Putana to kill Krishna. She did her service, but the effect came in the opposite way. Agga, Baka, and all the demons who Kamsa secretly engaged in trying to kill Krishna ended up failing in this way. That's the end of that part. There's another talk there by Srila Gurudev. They showed me, but I don't know where it is.
Are you going to read that one as well?
Well, yeah, but I don't know where it is.
Oh.
Somebody find it? Didn't you show me before? Did you show the talk by Srila Gurudev about Krishna's appearance?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Is it after this? No, that's the end. It doesn't go.
Back
Oh, back.
to the front page of
Yeah.
Tridandi now.
You'll have to do it. You'll have to do it.
There are all talks of Sripad.
Okay. Can we see it? So you know, some people would be bewildered, saying, "Well, how can God, appear like as a human way?" But then we can say very simply, if God can do anything, then why can't He also do that? If we could say then He can't do that, then how can He be God? Because God can do anything. Just from a very simple viewpoint, it's not difficult in that way. You found it.
Here, but it's all audio.
You know what?
All audio.
It's all audio.
No written
Oh.
text.
Oh, okay.
And we should transcribe it. As well for you. You're a genius at that. So, next time.
Yeah, well, there's about 20 minutes left, so do you want to say anything about this situation? Or?
How could I?
What?
We can put the audio on from Sripad.
Can you hear it though from that though? It wouldn't be audible very much.
It's also one in St. Petersburg where there's a video.
Okay, here's another. Okay, here's another one. I'll say Krishna as a chariot driver of Arjuna again. Okay, there's two Arjunas. There's the Pandava Arjuna. So he has Sakya Rasa with Krishna, friendly relation with Krishna. But in Sakya Rasa there's two levels. Slightly, I want to say lower level, but there's a more full level and a partial level, you could say like that. So all Pandavas are friend of Krishna, but the friends in Vrindavan, there's another Arjuna in Vrindavan who's a cowherd boy, friend of Krishna. But Krishna, there's a picture here, Vrindavan, Radha and Krishna there, and the light is coming down. And so the speaker of the Gita, Krishna, is Krishna in his Prakash expansion of the Swayam Bhagavan, Krishna in Vrindavan, and he is the speaker of the Gita. So it is Krishna, but an expanded form of Krishna, Dwaraka Krishna, you can say. And then So this whole pastime with Arjuna as Parthasarathi, the chariot driver of Arjuna. And this verse, which has been given the introductory invocation to the Gita, 1, 2, 3. So this is very nice, of Krishna Keshava. And about this Bhagavad Gita, O Bhagavad Gita, sung by the Supreme Lord Himself, you are the bestower of the enlightenment of Arjuna. You've been interwoven within the scripture Mahabharata by Srila Vedavyas, the writer of the Puranas. In 18 chapters you are the rain of ever-flowing nectar and the almighty potency of the Supreme Lord, which delivers the whole material world of suffering. O Mother, I keep you in my heart forever. O Master of great formidable intelligence, Srila Vyasadeva, whose eyes resemble the long petals of a blooming lotus flower, and who lit the lamp of knowledge, which was filled with the oil of the Mahabharata, I offer my respectful obeisances to you. I offer my respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, who fulfills all the desires of his surrendered devotees. He holds a driving rod in one hand, while the other is poised in a gesture of instruction, and he is the extractor of the nectar of the Gita. So the Gita is the words of the Supreme Lord, but because every expansion of the Lord is complete in itself, Om Purnam Ada Purnamidam, so the Gita also has its own existence and reality. So in one of the verses by the Shonak Rishi praising the glories of the Gita in the back here, 70 verses or so, and Krishna himself says, the Gita is my great guru. So therefore it says, Krishna is the extractor of the nectar of the Gita. And then this verse is very nice. Let me see. Sarvo Panishado Gavo, Dogda Gopala Nandana, Pato Vatsa Shudir Bhokta, Dugdam Gitam Ritam Mahat. This is a lovely verse. And the crest jewels of the Vedas, the Upanishads, are like a cow. And the milker of the cow is Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. Arjuna is the calf, the nectar of the Gita is the milk, and the virtuous devotees are the drinkers and enjoyers of that milk. So, Krishna is a gopa. So what does he do? He milks cows. So he's milking the cow, the Sarabi cow, wish-fulfilling cow of the Gita, and giving the milk, and he's feeding that directly to Arjuna. In the picture it shows, the udder, squeezing the udder, and the milk squirting straight into the mouth of Arjuna from the Gita. So, and the devotees are the drinkers and enjoyers of that milk. I offer my respectful obeisances to the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, who's the son of Vasudeva, the vanquisher of demons like Kamsa and Chanura, the expander of the divine ecstasy of Mother Devaki, the supreme God of all gods, and the Guru of the whole universe. The river of which one bank is Bhishma and the other is Dronacharya. Jayadrath is the water, the sons of Gandhari are the blue lotus flower, and Shala is the crocodile. Kripa is the current, and Karna is the ever-changing rising and ebbing tide. Ashvatthama, Vikarna, and their company are the fearful sharks, and Duryodhana is the whirlpool. So very, very dangerous, right? Very, very dangerous. All these great personalities, very powerful. You can say more powerful than Arjuna, actually. In one sense, Arjuna was small compared to many of them, but because Krishna was his friend and was driving his chariot, there's no way he could be defeated, ultimately. But Sri Keshava, Krishna, is the fisherman of such a river of battle, which was crossed over by the Pandava brothers. So normally it'd be very impossible to cross over such a river. Right? The words of Sri Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasadeva, the son of Parashara Muni, are a pure lotus flower. So when we say Vyasadeva, Vyasadeva is the compiler of the Vedas, yes? So he put everything together and organized everything, 108 Upanishads, the 4 Vedas, Mahabharata, Ramayana, everything, in an organized way that would be then given to posterity. But Vyasadeva is actually it's not like one person. It's like a role or a position. Like we say, the Prime Minister or the President. One time it's Tony Blair, one time it's this person, that person. So different souls who are qualified, they fulfill that role. So the Vyasadeva of this Kalpa, in which the Vedas were done, he's called Krishna Dvaipayan, Vyasadeva. Yeah. And he was the son of Parashara Muni, and he also had an extraordinary birth, right? His father was, Guru Maharaj tells, he became suddenly, apparently besotted with the lady who was driving the boat across the river. And from their union, Vyasadeva was born. Yeah. So he was saying, this is the arrangement, high arrangement of Krishna. We cannot say that he was under the influence of mundane lust, of Parashara Muni. He's a great sage, beyond such sensual disturbances. But that was Krishna's arrangement so that Vyasadeva could appear in the world. So the meaning of the Gita is the far-reaching fragrance of that lotus. And the various narrations are its stamens. Stamens? Yes, the little things in the middle of the lotus. There's things that come out, yeah? The revelations of Hari Katha, narrations about the Supreme Lord, are the river. That's the river on which the lotus is floating. Another name for the lotus is Pankaja. Ja means to be born. Like the English word to generate, generation from ja. The root verb is ja in Sanskrit. So Pankaja. Panka means mud. He's born from the mud, the lotus. Yeah, it's such a beautiful, beautiful flower and very significant. Queen Kunti, one of her verses is saying everything about Krishna is like a lotus. Eyes are like lotuses, his navel is like a lotus, his feet are lotus feet. So in the river of the narrations about the Supreme Lord Hari Katha, these many lotuses are born, these beautiful, beautiful lotuses. In this world, the pure devotees are the bees who are constantly absorbed in drinking the nectar of the lotus flower. May that Mahabharata lotus, which is the vanquisher of all evils in this age of Kali, graciously bestow auspiciousness upon us. So the Bhagavad Gita then, of course, is the central point. It's like the whirl of the lotus of the Mahabharata. The essential meaning of the Mahabharata in the 18 chapters of the Gita. And in Prapannajivanamritam, there Srila Guru Maharaj was explaining, and Srila Gurudev explained in great depth and detail. And he said, actually, this is my favourite verse of any verse in the Prapannajivanamrita, where Guru Maharaj said, that the devotees are like the bumblebees who are drinking the nectar of the lotus, and they're becoming intoxicated by the Hari Katha, the wonderful information about the Lord and his devotees. And as they're in their intoxicated state, like the bees intoxicated, they're going around like randomly, and they're tasting that nectar, and it's coming out of them as well. It's like dropping, falling out, spraying out, you can say. And then he said, I'm collecting that nectar that's coming from them in this book, Prapannajivanamritam. So something like that. I offer my respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, whose glories are praised with celestial prayers by Lord Brahma, Lord Varuna, Lord Indra, Lord Rudra, and the Maruts, and whose glories are recited by the nose of the Samaved, whose glories are sung by all the Vedas, along with their 6 subsidiary divisions and the Upanishads, who is seen within the hearts of the yogis absorbed in meditational trance, and whose infinite glories cannot be known either by the gods or the demons. Arjuna says to Krishna in Gita in one place, only you can know yourself. Right? So because everything is the expansion of the different energies of the Lord, the energies cannot know their source. Only the source can know itself, ultimately. But of course, if the source, the energetic, allows the energies, which the Jiva soul, we're part of the energy of the Lord, the Tasta Shakti, by the Lord's will, then we can know something about the Lord, as much or as he likes or as he wishes. But generally speaking, the effect can't know the cause. How can the effect know what has caused it? Because it's the effect, it's not the cause, right? That would be the normal case. But by the mercy of the Lord, this is possible. So even Lord Brahma, he prayed to Krishna after Krishna had chastised him, when he tried to pull one over on Krishna by stealing the cows and cowherd boys. That's called the Brahma Mohan or Brahma Vimohan Leela, the great illusion of Brahma. And Madhvacharya, he thought, how is this possible that the grandfather of our Sampradaya, the source, the original guru of our Sampradaya, who received the Vedas directly from Lord himself, how could he become so easily bewildered in such a way? So he didn't give any commentary on those 2 chapters of the Gita where that pastime is described. But after he realized his mistake and he apologized and offered prayers to Krishna, and in those prayers Lord Brahma said, many people may say many things about you. As far as I'm concerned, I can't know anything about you with my body, my mind, or my words. You are a complete mystery. This is Lord Brahma, supposed to be the most intelligent being of the universe. So Lord Brahma is actually a great sage. You show him with the 4 heads, and he's in meditation like that. But he's sometimes lamenting that he has no time to think of Krishna because he has to administrate the universe. Just imagine, he's administrating this small temple here. Such headaches. Or Saraswati, like that, and others. To imagine the whole universe. And when Gopakumar went to him, and Lord Indra, Gopakumar was praising Indra. Oh, you are the greatest devotee of the Lord, because the Lord appears as your brother, Upendra. There's Indra and Upendra, the brother. And he praised him so much, and Indra said, you can say that, but actually I did many offences against the Lord, and he runs through them, all the times that he lost his head, and he does really crazy stuff, like violating the wives of the sages, even wife of Brihaspati also, the guru of the Devas. And he got punished in many ways, but Krishna always forgave him, and he's the king of the gods. And he said, but look, ultimately, I'm nothing. Go to Brahma. He's the one. And Krishna showed him so much mercy, and go to him. So when Gopakumar went to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma said, I was very foolish, and he gave the example of that pastime when he stole the cows. And he said, it's very difficult for me to think of Krishna. I'm so much caught up in this administrative activities, because that's an effect of the Rajaguna. Rajaguna is activity, right? Tamoguna, there's no activity. As tamasic means like sleep, intoxication, it's like dead, it's like in the gutter, darkness, complete dense darkness, right? Animals are supposed to be in the tamoguna. But in the gunas, there's also divisions and subdivisions and sub-subdivisions. So you have Mahatamas, Mahatamas, and then little light tamas, like this. So and then Rajagun is activity. And above that, Sattvagun, again, no activity. No activity. Sattva guna is existence, just existence. The state of the mind, we mentioned about sattva, Shuddha sattva, pure existence, no activity. And tamas, no activity. But in the middle, rajas, there you have your action. And Lord Brahma is the Lord, he's the, you could say, icon of the rajasic mode, because it takes huge intelligence to create a universe, right? How intelligent you have to be. So he's very much involved with those things. And then again, Lord Shiva, something else. He's detached. He's not. And then he goes to Gopakumar. He went from Brahma to Shiva. Brahma told him, go to Shiva. He's the man. You know, he's like, he's off in his own activities in Kailash. You know, just absorbed in his trance meditation. And then Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva sent him to Prahlad. He was actually going to go to Lakshmi after that, but you know that Parvati might be upset, so Lord Shiva told him, whispered in his ear, you should go to Prahlad, you know, because he's a Shantarasa relationship with Krishna or Lord Nrsimhadev. But if Lord Shiva will say, tell him that externally, then Parvati might be upset. Well, he should go to Lakshmi. Lakshmi is the greatest devotee, isn't it? So in this way. So in Krishna's human-like pastimes, his Nara Leela, as it's called, you find all these very wonderful relationships with different personalities going on, just like in ordinary life. And this is how Krishna likes to behave and do himself. For Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, where many, all these great sages and rishis and all the four Vedas and Upanishads all praising him. So they're praising him. Well, how does that affect him? He's not like he goes, oh, then everybody's praising me. I must be something great. I must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not like that. He doesn't find much fun in that. So he likes to be human-like. And he can interact with everyone and play this way and have many relationships. And so this is Krishna, our Krishna, the real Krishna, we say. And Krishna, therefore, is always with his expansions. First expansion, his own internal Hladini Shakti, pleasure-giving potency, Sri Radha. We always see Krishna with Radha there, not Krishna alone. Krishna alone is like Vasudeva Krishna, yes, something like Paramatma, without Shakti. And so Krishna for us is that Krishna has revealed through the teachings and the devotees and saints and sages. So we've heard something today about the appearance of Lord Krishna, which is continuing actually in Green Street up to midnight. And previously devotees would extract themselves and go over there right after the program. But I think this year that's not.
Are you going out there?
Who likes to do that can do that, of course.
Are you going out there?
Are you? Green Street, they're having the festival up to midnight. Yep. Yes, because many Indian community, you see, many Indian community are there, so they're visiting there, but they're having to restrict them. Only few come in at a time, and then they can stay only so long time, and they have to go out, and others will come in. Well, this is going on up to midnight. So really, it's kind of, in Green Street, it's more like for the Indian community, for their benefit today. So the main festival there will be tomorrow, actually, the Nanda Mahotsava. They'll be having the midday program and so forth. Yeah.
Lots of people will be going there?
Yeah, lots. What, tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, of course. And also is it appearance of Swami Maharaj or this?
Yes.
Appearance of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, incredibly and auspiciously falling on the same day as the Nanda Mahotsava. Yeah.
So that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow, yes. You see, because when traditionally in India, when Krishna appeared, that's at midnight. Okay, so Krishna appeared and we celebrate that, we honour that. But then his birth was celebrated the next day, a big festival in the house of Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan. So, of course, ISKCON, they have a feast at midnight. We don't have that. They have a feast, a multi-layered feast. We have, yeah.
I think that's our guys also have. Like
Okay. Generally, we are doing the prasad, anukalpa, non-grain breakfast. Yeah, so we're doing it here after the program.
We were meant to eat non-grains, but I had grains for prasad and
Did you?
Yeah,
Oh my God!
I tried not to.
You tried not to. Oh, what do you mean? Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean there was in the temple or something?
Yeah, they offered grains.
Oh, I see. Of course, they offer to Krishna. It's not that Krishna is restricted in that way. Or also Gurudev. We can offer the grain to Gurudev because he's anyway offering automatically to Krishna. So he would take or not take. That is his thing.
Will Gurudev still honour that prasad?
Yes, he will honour it, of course.
Okay.
And but anyway, I'm sure if you try to honour Krishna very nicely on Janmashtami and pray to him, then he'll forgive you. That's right, isn't it? But don't do it again. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Jai.
Yeah.
Arti.
So everybody can please try to stand on your areas.
marks on designated.
Designated areas. Ananda, can you?
Bhakti Vimalacharya Maharaj ki Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai Vishnupa Paramahamsa Frivraj Acharya Varyo Stotra Sata Shishima Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Vishnupa Paramahamsa Frivraj Acharya Varyo Stotra Sata Shishima Bhakti Rakshak Shila Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Vishnupa Paramahamsa Frivraj Acharya Varyo Stotra Sata Shishima Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai Vishnupal Shila Gaurkishore Das Bhaji Maharaj ki Jai Vishnupal Shila Satchit Ananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai Vishnupal Shila Jagannath Das Bhaji Maharaj ki Shri Baladev Vidya Bhushan ki Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Prabhu ki Nartam Shyamananda Srinivasa Acharya Prabhu ki Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami ki Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Jiva Gopala Bhattadas Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu ki Shri Rupa Naga Guru Varga ki Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Avtar Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki Avtar Sri Mahaprabhu ki Shri Navdeep Dham ki Shri Mayapur Dham ki Shri Ganga Jamuna ki Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopkopna Shyamakunda Radhakunda Gopkopna Giri Govardhan ki Bhakta Devi Vrinda Devi Tulasi Devi ki Shri Purushottam Dham ki Baladev Subhadra Jagannath ki Shri Bhakti Vigya Vinasha Shinga Shinga Dev ki Prabha Prahlad Maharaj ki Mantra Srimad Bhagavatam Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Vaishnav Raja Shab ki Raja Shri Chaitanya Mat ki Radha Sakha Mat ki Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Chaitanya Saraswat Mat West London Chapter ki Vishwavyapi Tariya Sakha Mat ki Anand Kota Vaishnav Vrinda ki Samaveta Vaishnava Mandala ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Harinama Sankirtan ki Shri Janmashtami Mahotsava ki Jai Sri Guru Maharaj Raj Bhakti Jari